Hello, this is Tom with the Tractor Rescue Ranch. I am working on the next project here. This is the cradle that holds this big bearing in place, and this is the bearing. But anyway, when I gathered this mill up over there, all of these bolts were missing. Couldn't find them. So what I've done, that's the 7/8. So what I've done is I've bought a big piece of all thread, and I've got to measure here how long these bolts are going to be. But you can see right in here, that's a cone shape. So on the ends of these bolts, I need to duplicate that. So the bolt will go through right here and into that cone shape. And that's what gives you your fine adjustment on that. So I'm assuming if I put the shaft in here absolutely square, I'll get enough fine adjustment on this, because the blade is supposed to be towed, I think it's supposed to be towed towards the log, just real slightly. So hopefully these adjustments will get me there. So it looks like a 3-inch bolt with the cone turned onto the end, or the point turned onto the end, that'll fit in that will be perfect. And then what I'll do is I'll just take a nut and weld a nut on the end of those bolts. So that'll work. My friend Robbie in Cokeville has a lathe. He already said he'd help me out, so we'll just take these short pieces of bolt in there on his lathe and turn that shape into them. Okay, there's my bolts. Next step is to run off to the Robbie shop and get the points put into them with the lathe. Well, the machine work is done with using the lathe. They turned out really nice, and I got to admit I don't have any idea what these bolts originally looked like, what they should have been, how they should have been, but I think that they're going to be completely adequate. They just slide into there. It works really good, and screw in here. So that's where we're at. What I was originally thinking about doing is welding a nut on the back end of them and then having another nut up farther to lock it in. But it dawns on me that might be overdoing it. What I'll probably do is just cut a slice or a notch in the ends of these, like for a screwdriver, and then I'll put the nut up there to lock them in, and then I'll use a bunch of anti-seize so they don't get frozen in place. Works perfect, that's all it takes. So I was looking for a big 7/8 tap to clean the paint and the gunk out of the threads on that, and I couldn't find one. So that's a pretty big size. Anyway, a friend of mine, Robbie, suggested that I try this. Just take an old 7/8 bolt and cut some grooves in it to evacuate the paint and rust and stuff and run that down them holes. So we'll give that a try. I think that's a brilliant idea. I can't take credit for that idea, but I think it might work out really well. That was a pretty good idea for cleaning out them dirty threads. So that's what it turned out to look like. Now that'll be adjustable like this. I think that project turned out really good. Thanks for watching.